Hey.
All right, hello there, Chick Chat. We are back with another episode of Unexpected. It is Friday, so here we are.
Hey.
We're gonna start off with the shortest little story this week. So we have Isabella and Bryce. I know there's a bonus scene. I don't know if it starts with a bonus scene, so I guess I'll let you kind of.
It does not. I think it kind of is like spliced right into the middle. It just gives a little bit more of a conversation between her and her mom. But I'm sure you guys all peeped this new intro where we drop the Bryce.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did see that.
I thought it was cute. I mean, I'm not a Bryce fan, so I'm all about Isabella empowerment. I don't know about the kind of empowerment that she's going down. I mean, cutting someone off this quickly before you even have the baby, I think is a little excessive. But I am all about her not having a relationship with this man. So she does let us know that she's preparing to be induced the very next day. So her and her mom are packing and everything and getting all the clothes ready and stuff. And she says that she plans to have her mom and her sisters in the delivery room. Obviously, no mention of Bryce. So I don't know. I'm a little bit anxious to see how this labor situation ends up actually going. But to be determined, that's not happening this episode. But she does inform us that they broke up and they're not really talking right now. And that's when we do get into the bonus scene. Isabella is just talking about how pregnancy is impacting her and how the baby's just kind of sitting on her tailbone. So she's really ready for everything to be done. So her mom's just giving her some support. And then they have like confessional scene where they talk a little bit about what it's like to deliver a baby and to go into labor because her mom has had both natural labor and a C-section. So Isabella is asking her which one she thinks is worse and what the process is like. And her mom pretty much explains that when you go into natural labor, your body starts to go through these processes over time. And then when you're induced, all the processes kind of happen at once. But she did end up saying that ultimately she does prefer to be induced because it's just a faster, more planned process. So Isabella was just kind of listening. She didn't have a whole lot to say. In fact, she interrupted in the middle of it and said that she was having some cramps in her vagina. And her mom said, that is a perfect example of the process that I was telling you about. Your body is going through those stages. Even though she's being induced tomorrow, her body is starting to really prepare also to have a baby. So she's not happy. She's feeling pretty sore. She's noticing some of those early labor pains. And then they get into that conversation about have you heard from Bryce? I thought that this was a pretty nasty text message to send somebody who's about to literally have your baby to just be saying, I'm so happy that I broke down crying. Is that what he said? Am I misinterpreting this?
Yeah, I think he was being a little bit dramatic for sure.
Broke down crying for once because in a long ass time I had a true smile on my face again. Come on, bro. You are 8. He's 18 years old. Craziness.
Isn't it? Like, it is crazy.
It is. So, I mean, ultimately, I do really like Isabella's response to him. She pretty much said, the things that make me smile is our daughter and feeling her heartbeat and feeling her kick. I don't really love how she talked about how her daughter's gonna understand how bad their relationship is. I think that's something that she should try to protect her daughter from, but she's probably just emotional right now. So I'm not going to hold her to this one text message she sent the day before she had a baby in response to an asshole. So I don't know. I mean, the communication between the two of them is still not so great. Obviously, one therapy session or whatever is not going to fix all their problems, but I kind of had some hope the day that they went to that therapy session that they might stay together and try to really work things out. But I feel like the supports that they have are really working against them staying in a relationship. If the supports that they had were helping them to be together and have a relationship, I think it would really be a whole different story. But that is not really what we're seeing. And in fact, both of these kids are being supported more by their families when they leave each other. So, which is fine. I mean, they really don't need to be together.
No, but like I do think it's a big decision to be like, he's not allowed anywhere near me. Like I think it's one thing not having him in the delivery room, but just let him sit in the waiting room. Like
Yeah, he should
you
be
also
in the
don't want to make, yeah,
I
you don't
don't
want
I
to
think
make a lifelong decision off of temporary emotion.
I completely agree. And there was kind of a sweet moment I thought between Tasha and Isabella where Tasha says, it's okay that Hunter's not around because I have Hazley, which is their daughter's name, and I'll take
Mhm.
care of you guys. And it makes Isabella emotional because she knows that her mom had higher hopes for her and higher standards for her and did not want to be, kind of raising her grandchild and supporting her grandchild financially. So I thought it was kind of a sweet moment. Her mom is kind of like, what's done is done. Like, yes, I had those rules and those were in place for a reason, but that doesn't mean that, life just ends there when they're broken. So I thought that that was nice.
Mhm.
I've seen on social media that the two of them are no longer on good terms and are not living together pretty much immediately after
Yeah.
filming. So I don't know how nice, it really is. As we've noticed with this season, there's a lot of producer shenanigans, a lot of storylines that seem to be, I mean, almost made up at this point to at least to Bella and Hunter's situation. So I don't know, I don't know how nice it is, but at least here the day before she has her baby, she does, I think, feel some support from her mom. We also get Bryce's stupid point of view for just a second. And he says that he's waiting for Isabella to essentially reach out, but that he hasn't actually made it known that he wants to be there, but Isabella should know that. And I think that that's just ridiculous. He should be reaching out in regard to his child, not just in regard to the last time he wept because he was so happy. It's just absolutely astounding. So the conversation does end with them on Isabella saying if he arrives at the hospital, she's going to get him arrested. And then she said, better yet, he'll probably get himself arrested because once I kick him out, he's going to act like a crazy person. And, I think that that is a distinct possibility. Isabella knows Bryce pretty well. So I don't know. I think it definitely could happen, but I also think that it's a possibility that Bryce just completely isn't even there and that his
Mhm.
grandparents are more so the ones that are like causing a ruckus at the hospital, which I think like speaks even more poorly on Bryce, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's terrible.
Yeah, it does. Um, Hopefully things are a little better because now they, also live in some kind of trailer or something. So hopefully
Yeah.
things are better there. But I did hear he has a gerb.
Yep.
I don't know
Yep.
what it is. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Because they are together, according to the online interwebs. So yeah, and I mean that might say something as to why she's not talking to Tasha anymore and all of that too. So I don't know, we'll see. There's been a lot that's coming out online as the season progresses, so we will keep you all updated for the stuff that we know. I haven't seen a lot online about this couple necessarily though. We have Amaya and Jose up next. Have you seen
yes.
anything online about them?
Not really. I think I've been seeing online about them is just how much everybody likes her mom, you
Yeah,
know?
her mom is, I think, probably the fan favorite of the entire season.
Mhm. She's
Yeah, I
doing
love
great. She's the best parent. Her and Mia's dad, I think, could
yes.
do some classes with the kids.
Yes, I think that they might even be a good match together, It's like, I don't know, that would be
Yeah.
kind of a strict household, but I don't know. They're kind of like funny but also strict. They have I don't know, kind of fun parent personalities, I think. But yeah, it seems like Amaya's mom is the fan favorite. I think she even shined a lot just this episode, kind of talking about body image and helping Amaya out with a lot of this stuff. But Amaya is going on her first date with Jose since they had the baby. She feels anxious and nervous about a lot of things. I mean, if you can remember back when you were a teenager, there were times where you thought that everybody knew everything that was going on in your mind. And I think that's what she's suffering from right now. She thinks when she walks out the door that everybody knows that she was young and had a baby, that everybody is concerned about, what her body looks like and is judging her and, has kind of all these opinions. And I think when you get older, you realize that we're all just consumed in our own heads. So we're not really judging everyone as much as we think we are when we're young. So either way, she's entitled to feeling off about her body. And that's what she's trying to express to her mom. Her mom did a good job of reminding her, like, good versus bad is subjective. Like, it's something that you can kind of figure out for yourself. But she did end up saying the things did not look how she wanted them to look, how she expected them to look, and that was disappointing. So that was sad to see her go through that. But I know, all women go through that. And her mom made a good point as well. Like, you're not going to just slip on the same pants that you had, as she said, the day you got pregnant, right after you, have the baby. So I thought that this was a good conversation to see. And again, I'm glad that her mom is encouraging her to get out and, kind of get back to herself a little bit too, because she does need some support as far as the baby and all that. So they both talk about how cute they are, though, which I thought was really, really cute. And then even Jose, gave her some compliments in the confessional, talking about how he likes to, snuggle up to his lady. So he's not minding anything extra for him.
Yes.
When this happens.
I did feel bad because she was already nervous to go on this date because she wasn't really finding the right clothes, like everything just fits different. And she said she's already a bigger girl. So yeah, it's really hard to get back out there after you've had a baby. Like, even if you are, thin, you just, you don't feel like yourself, you probably, a lot of people get postpartum depression. Like, the last thing you want to do is go outside and run into somebody, So I totally felt her on that. Because, like, I don't go out too much. I might go out to eat real quick. But yeah, when I saw her try to get into the go-kart and then find out that this has happened to her before, I was so mad at him. I was like, so it's so insensitive. Like, if this has already happened before, then, I mean, you already know how it makes her feel.
I know. I was actually watching this with my husband, so we'll get into it. I'll share with you guys what his reaction was too, because it was actually quite thoughtful and interesting when it came to that scene. So yeah, when we get there, I will share that with you all. But we got 2 bonus scenes with Amaya and Jose. They seem to be kind of the king and queen of bonus scenes, which I'm not mad at. I think Anne and I decided before we started filming that it's probably really her mom. That is she's kind of a fan favorite. So I think that's maybe part of the reason that we're getting bonus scenes from them so much. And I think that when it comes to cutting with production and cutting scenes, there probably are cutting Amaya and Jose scenes the most, because they really don't have a ton of drama other than just the difficulty naturally of having a baby really young. But we start off the bonus scene right away, and her mom is just like, you guys both smell very strong right now. You guys have a lot of perfume and cologne going on. So they're talking, they're laughing with each other about how they're kind of nervous, both of them, for the first date, but more so Amaya. And she's kind of giggling in the confessional together and talking about how it's really been a long time since they've been able to go out on a date together. And definitely since before she had Sammy, but I think they're talking about really since before she got pregnant with Sammy, even because they're saying it's like longer than they could remember, and they just had Sammy a couple weeks ago. So also, I I think Sammy is a girl, and I thought Sammy was a boy. Do you
It's a
know
boy.
me?
Yeah.
I think it's maybe I misheard something this past episode,
I
but
swear it's
there
a
was
boy.
something made me think, "Oh my gosh, this baby is a girl." I don't know.
Mm.
You guys let us know in the comments what you think. Um, I can't remember. I should have wrote down what it was that made me think that. But okay, so you are under the impression that Sammy is a boy.
I think so. Is he
I
not?
am too, but I heard something that threw me off. So I'll let you know if it comes back to my mind. But anyways, Amaya's mom actually thanks Amaya and Jose for going out and trusting her with their child, which I thought was really cute because I think it gives them permission to kind of enjoy themselves, but it also acknowledges too that it's a really hard thing to let go of your baby for the first time, or
It
ever, but
is.
really for the first time. And so even if it's with your own mother, your own parent, you're still worried. So I thought that was really sweet that she acknowledged, that they're trusting her and going out and enjoying themselves. It's not just fun. It's hard too. So even Jose says that he's nervous leaving Sammy, and Amaya reassures him and says that he's going to be fine with my mom. I turned out fine, and he laughs at her. But I mean, Jose has been living at Amaya's house for several years, I have learned, because his own mother has not really been very present. So I guess
Mhm.
that's part of what some of the tea that we've been able to get online about some of these families. Now, if you've been watching, I think I was able to show the bonus scene when we first started of Jose's mom visiting Amaya right after they had Sammy. And Jose's mom had a baby with her, and she just had that baby within the same time frame that Amaya had Sammy. So I know that Jose's mom is kind of dealing a lot probably with her own newborn and things like that. But seems like even before she was pregnant and all of that, Jose has been staying over there for quite a while. So I'm sure he trusts Amaya's mom with the baby. And so Amaya says, I turned out fine. I don't know about Aria, but I turned out fine, which they cut to the little sister over here. Poor little girl has to get just thrown out under the bus for no absolute reason at all. And Amaya just can't even contain herself. Look at this big sister laugh, like, oh, I got to get one in on my sister. Crazy. 7-year-old girl, Amaya. She can't speak for herself in this show.
Jeez.
So they go on
Yeah.
their date. They talk a lot about being nervous. Jose apologizes to her for making her nervous, and she was like, "No, I just feel like I still have a crush on you." And I don't know, it was kind of a cute moment. So I think
Yeah.
that is where they plop us back into the arcade. Oh, Amaya says that Jose is the only one who knows her as deeply as like anyone else on the planet, essentially. And then Jose says, "What does the saying go? I can read you like a box." He said like a box. That's what this was supposed to be. And then she corrected him and said like a book. But he said I can read you like a box.
How weird. But I mean, like I said, sometimes these people are a little slow. But
A little, just a slight smidge.
yeah.
So they get into their little arcade date together. And she's complimenting him about how he smells, even though Mama G just drug them through the mud about how they smell. And she's kind of flirting with him a little bit.
Yep. Sure. Just a little bit.
And then we get another bonus scene. Oh, there you are. Okay. Are you there? Everything just froze. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Everything froze on my end. Okay, so we get another bonus scene and Mama G calls and she's asking, why is there no water in the diaper bag? So I don't know if she planned to take the baby to the park or something. It's obvious she didn't plan to take the baby home, because she's calling saying there's no water in the diaper bag and the baby's hungry, and all there is this can of formula, but no water, to make the formula. And so apparently Jose packed the baby bag. And so Jose has the typical man response, which is, there should be blah, blah, blah. And that is the always response when you know that there is not. But the man says that there should be. Not like, oh, I forgot, or I put it right
Yeah.
here, but there should be. There should be. That's why I'm telling you, but there's not. That's really what the problem is right now. So yeah, Jose says there should be water in there. Lo and behold, there's no water in there. Amaya's mom is kind of making them feel bad. She's like, I'm gonna have to go and get some water. So they have a confessional together, Amaya and Jose, and Amaya quickly blames Jose for packing the bag and for getting Sammy's formula. And then she quickly turns around and she says, but really it's on both of us because we're a team. And Jose was like, oh, like, yay, sarcastically. And he does take accountability for it. He says that he really should have double checked that Sammy was all good to go. So it was a good little test run for them to understand exactly what is needed for Sammy when he leaves the house. He talks about how his priorities kind of shifting and being really different. And then it drops us back into the actual episode between the two of them, where they start to go ride the go-karts. And this was definitely a hard scene to watch. I know, and you had kind of spoken a little bit on this earlier. But my husband was watching this with me, and he was commenting on the immaturity of Jose, even though we all respect Jose for how much he's stepped up, and being a parent. All these kids are kids, and they just don't think everything through all the way. And he was just kind of flabbergasted to see this man this kid continue to ride this go-kart while his baby mama girlfriend is in the bathroom literally crying, having a hard time because she cannot get on the go-kart. But he just continued to ride around like a sad puppy with like no facial expression, no anything, on this go-kart. Didn't even have any fun. Like, what was the point of that?
I mean, it's his own fault. He shouldn't have forced her to do that.
He shouldn't have. And I had some hope at first, because sounded like she was worried about fitting in the seat, and she actually fit in the seat just fine, but it was really the seatbelt that was the issue. And I have been in situations where those go-karts are all just a little bit different. And I wonder if she would have gotten in the other one if the seatbelt would have fit, because it really was pretty close. But I understand that she was humiliated and she was not willing to sit and try every effing go-kart until she found, the magic go-kart.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, Jose takes his lonely solo go-kart ride while his girlfriend cries in the bathroom and calls her mom because Jose is, spinning around on the go-kart. So she lets her know pretty much what happened. She talks about wanting to go home, and her mom asks if she needs to come and pick her up. And I don't remember. I don't think she really gave her an answer. I think she just cried some more.
Yeah.
So this is where it ends with the bonus scene episode. I believe that there is a little bit more with her and talking to her mom, but I trust that you guys all watched that. So I think we are now moving on to Mia. We're having a baby.
We are having a baby.
Well, we're trying to have a baby. I don't think we'll really be having a baby until next episode, hopefully. Although I did not see the baby in the preview for the next episode, but I'm sure that it's there. So she is going to the hospital to get induced, and they're going in the middle of the night, essentially. They're leaving at 11 o'clock. They're supposed to be there at midnight. And Mia lets us know that she found out that everyone can be present. So because they're minors, they can each have 2 support people, which means her mom can be there, both the moms can be there, the dad can be there. And Jesse actually doesn't count as a person because he gets his own support people too. So it could be a whole bunch of people in there if they wanted. But I mean, as usual, Keith is a little bit worried about the adults in the room. He's like, yeah, it's all well and good that everyone is allowed and everything, but if the adults are not in the room acting the way that adults are supposed to act, then I don't really know how all of this is going to go. So that's how we all feel. Keith is the voice of reason. He's always speaking for everybody. And then we get a little bonus scene too with Mia and what is this man's name? Mia and what is Jesse? That's his name. So we get Mia and Jesse, and they're asking Jesse what he knows about labor and the birthing process. And I mean, he seems to know more than the typical 16-year-old boy would know, but it's obviously through the filter of a 16-year-old boy. So he says that he knows that there's a couple different ways that you can have a baby. He says that you can have natural birth. Okay.
Sorry, Chicha, I gotta go. Having a little bit of an emergency, but Brooke's gonna finish us out. She's pretty much doing it all anyway, so I was kind of dealing with something.
Yeah, we're good.
But if I get done, I will come back.
Okay. I hope that it keeps us going because you're on the thing.
Oh, well, I'll just take off my camera, honestly. It'll be fine.
Okay. Okay. Bye. Okay. All right, Chick Chat. It's just you and I together now. But okay, so there is a bonus scene here. And Jesse's talking about what the birthing process is like. He says you can have a C-section like a surgery, or you can give birth naturally. He says that it can come out of the hoo-ha, or that you can do the surgery. He also says that there's drugs involved. So he's aware that there are some supportive drugs involved. He talks about an epidural. He does not mention Pitocin, which is what his baby mama is about to be on. But she also is going to take this epidural. So he says to her, I do want to watch the baby come out, but I'm a little bit nervous about all of the other stuff that comes out. And so the producer asks, what is it exactly that you're nervous about coming out? And he lists it all. He says the blood and, this stuff and that stuff. And Mia asks, what about the baby? But I think he wasn't thinking about the baby. I think he was really just thinking about all the other stuff involved. So he says, yeah, obviously, the baby's going to come out as well. So this is where they plop us right back into the regular scene that we saw in the regular episode. Everybody made it through the night successfully. We saw Mia's mom, Nicole, and AK actually sharing a little pull-out bed, which was shocking to watch. But they looked like they made it through. Nicole did a little kick in the morning. I don't know if that was a reflex or if that was just, I'm still in charge or I'm coming for you. I don't know what that was, but I think AK responded to it really well. She just laughed, thank God. And then we hear a little bit of back and forth about like the labor process. The girls are all waking up in the morning, the moms included, and nothing has really quite happened overnight. When she first got induced, she was starting to dilate enough, like at a steady pace. But in the morning, she's only dilated 1 more centimeter. And then she does end up asking for the epidural pretty quickly in the morning as well. So after, this is where the kick happened. So after she asked for the epidural, the doctor lets everybody know, because epidurals are dangerous, that they don't want any distractions. They don't want anything going on in the room. So they ask that everyone is going to leave. And it seems like at this point, this is when both of these moms who spent so much damn time trying to sit here and argue with each other and cause this girl's high blood pressure to spike so much that she's sitting in this hospital bed right now. This is when they decide, oh, it sounds like a good time to leave the hospital. I cannot for the life of me even figure out why AK could not call a neighbor, call a family member, call an older sibling, call somebody to come and help her kids in the morning. I understand that you have to go watch your kids and everything. Trust me, I know she has 6 kids, but this is something that she fought so hard for. So she's like, I gotta go. I gotta take care of my kids. And then, of course, Nicole, at any chance that she gets, is going to run out and leave her daughter, which is so stupid and so sad to watch. But that is the case. That is what we do see. So her mom just barely wakes up, cracks her eyes open, probably needs to go get her fix, gets one little measly excuse to leave the hospital, and she's out. She is gone for like 9 hours, you guys, more than 9 hours, because 9 hours later, we're getting a recommended C-section because no progress has been made. And this woman still is not in the hospital, not anywhere to be found, nowhere at all. And then it even complicates the process because she's not answering her phone. Nobody can get in contact with her. And now there's only 2 people that are going to be allowed in the delivery room for the C-section. And Mia does not want her dad to get all gowned up if her mom is going to just magically appear, because of course she wants her mom to just magically appear. So she tells her dad, it's okay. I'll just have Jesse back there. I don't want mom to get mad. And Keith is pretty understanding, as he typically is. And, really, he says it's not even like my place to be in that spot. And he's right. I mean, it's not his place. It's her mom's place, especially if Mia doesn't really. I don't think it's that she doesn't want him there. I think it's more so she would rather her mom be there. And like Keith said, it's not like a quick switch up that can necessarily happen. So yeah, they end up kind of going through the preparation for a C-section, and it's just going to be Jesse in the room. And I felt so bad for Mia at this moment, because I've gone through things like this with a parent who's absent. And it's just hard. It's hard when you want your parent there in those moments. These are moments that you can truly never, ever replicate or get back. And when they drop the ball, they just drop the ball completely. And it's sad. It was sad to watch. I had a little tear in my eye watching her try to make this gut-wrenching decision, because she does want a parent there. You can tell even the doctor was like, you can have 2 people, your dad can come, but she's just so worried about upsetting her stupid mom. And I think AK ends up saying it best. She just says, this woman is out here being a bum. Here I am, yes, she left, but she was expecting like a labor to progress, so it's like when she says, hey, call me when you're 7 or 8 centimeters dilated, she thinks this girl's going to progress into labor, not have a 30-minute deadline to have a C-section. So I give her a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt for not quite making it in time. And I don't even know if Mia would have wanted her in the room, at this point anyways. So I don't know. I do agree with AK's assessment of the mom being a complete and utter bum. But other than that, I mean, we're going to see a baby pretty soon with the 2 of them. I'm worried about this C-section a little bit. It seems like it's going to be kind of chaotic. I don't know. I have bad feelings. We did see the baby in the next episode where, I think Nicole comes in and she tries to kiss the baby. And Mia's like, please do not kiss my baby. I mean, first of all, please don't kiss my baby, period. But you just came in from literally God knows where. Mia cannot even identify in the next episode where her mom has been. And this one wants to come in with her crusty, dusty, nasty, drug-filled lips and touch her baby with it. Like, how actually delusional are you, woman? So that is where we leave Mia. I just really hope everything goes well for them to get out of the hospital. It's got to be very stressful to have so much drama going on in the hospital. It's just, there's so many people around and so many eyes and just so much to learn. She does not need all of this. So Anna and I decided that we are going to leave off and finish on, of course, the most dramatic of all. So I will soldier on alone. It's a good thing I've been paying attention to all the stuff on the social media, because usually Anne is a lot better at that than me, but she tags me in it all. So I probably will start off with some of the drama that's going on social media with Hunter and Bella. We talked a little bit about it, Anne and I, last week, about all of the drama with Hunter and Bella. So go back and watch that episode if you want kind of like a dive in to everything that seems to be happening behind the scenes and also is happening now. But from last Friday to this week, there has been two main updates, at least that I know of. So the first main update that I know of is that Hunter's dad has filed, well, I think 3 court requests at this point. He filed to have an emergency custody hearing. And then he filed for the emergency custody hearing to amend their custody, I think, for him to have full custody of Hunter. And he lists out all of these just crazy things in the court documents. Pretty much all the stuff that we talked about in the last episode that is going around on social media about Hunter's mom, about how a lot of people feel about Fallon, Bella's mom, in the town and all of that. Pretty much all of that stuff is validated now in court documents. So it's certainly not a lie. And then they went on, to kind of add, obviously, some more details and things like that too. And I mean, we have all been sounding the alarm, especially since the shower scene, about how messed up this family environment is, about how little supervision there seems to be, and not just supervision, but like the parents seem to be egging it on. Like, I almost wonder if Fallon wasn't involved, if Bella would even be this hypersexual. I mean, it's quite alarming and bizarre. It seems to be egged on by her mom. But anyways, so we learned that that Hunter's dad really is stepping in. This whole show wants to portray like Hunter's dad is not around. And they really had me going for so long. I felt so bad for Hunter, when come to find out, this poor kid, I still feel bad for him, but he's being manipulated by this family, by his weird mom. Like, what is going on with all of these people? I have no idea. But hopefully one day soon, Hunter will be rescued, I guess, by his dad. I mean, who knows? I don't know anything about his dad. I don't know anything about his family or these people. Maybe they're not even any better. But that's the situation right now. And then the third court document that he filed was to establish paternity for Wesley, for the baby. And I'm guessing that's because there's been a lot of rumors swirling around that Bella is not allowing Hunter to take the baby anywhere outside of the house. So like, he's not able to take the baby to his dad's house when he's there or staying there, or like to visit or anything. So Hunter's dad is going to establish the paternity, and then I'm guessing either through Hunter or as the guardian of Hunter and therefore the guardian of Wes, take some form of custody there. I don't know what the actual process is, but I know that that's kind of step one in trying to establish some rights for Hunter over Wes. So I guess we'll see where that goes. The second big piece of information that I think happened this week, but you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it happened a long time ago, but Bella's family moved. I think they moved, like, they're still in the same state, but they moved definitely out of the house that they were living in. I think it was like a double wide that they were living in on a piece of land. There were rumors it's been up for sale for a long time, but I don't know. Apparently it's sold now. The land is sold. The double wide has sold. And Bella and her family decided to round up a whole bunch of campers, like not trailers, campers, and put them on a new piece of land and have like a camper compound situation with all these minors. And I mean, I guess Bella's the only minor. Her sister is over 18, but I don't know. It's just weird. I'm sure you guys probably think that it's weird too. So yeah, they're all living on this new piece of unknown land in separate campers. Bella has been living in a camper on the other piece of land since before this. So everybody's seen Bella's camper on her lives and everything. But she's taken her camper onto this new piece of land. I guess her older sister has her own camper that's going to go on the land. And then, mom and dad have a mom and dad camper for the land. And who knows what's going to go on at that crazy crackpot place. So, keep updated, I guess, with us on some of the news that goes on behind the scenes here. Like we talked about earlier, Ann and I, it seems like the production really was up to some things this season, and probably not just this season. This show in particular has had quite the reputation of kind of almost fabricating storylines. I mean, these things are obviously happening to some capacity, but like Hunter's dad is involved. Hunter's dad and Hunter, I'm sure, had some drama and some issues going on about Bella being pregnant. But it seems like a lot of the non-communication actually happened because of Hunter's mom and Fallon, and not because of Hunter's dad. So there's definitely potential here for the production to really take a little sliver of a truth. Like Hunter's dad is not present. That is, I guess, true. But really kind of distort like why and what's going on and what the things going on behind the scenes are for that. So yeah, that is the news that I've heard about the two of these little children. And mostly their parents. I'm not mad at Bella and Hunter. I mean, Bella's controversial. Hunter is, 13, so 14 now or whatever. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes along with that, but it's really the parents that just suck in this situation. I'm probably going to wait until the next time that Ann and I are together to talk a little bit more about that, just because we like to kind of play off of each other in those situations. But that is the news that is going on. They did have a really, really brief scene this episode, so this should not go on too much longer, but they do hop in where Bella says it's been 2 weeks now since they've been back from the hospital, and she already looks a little bit different. So, I don't know, obviously, when this scene was shot and when the confessional was shot. Obviously, she's just narrating what's happened. But she says it's been 2 weeks, that she's been up and walking since she could feel her legs. And I don't know, that just like, cool, good for you. I'm glad that you're healthy and all of that. But that just came across to me as like such a brag for a 15-year-old girl who just had a baby. I mean, good, you're healthy. That sounds good. But yeah, it's almost as if she feels just like she's so ready to take on, more. I mean, that's what the storyline, I guess, is giving. So she's in the back of the car. Her and her mom are going to the store for something, and her mom is talking about her trying out for junior cheer, maybe sophomore cheer. I think sophomore cheer. So she's going to try back out. I guess she was in cheerleading before, but obviously when she was obviously pregnant, she wasn't allowed to, represent the school, I guess, and cheer that way. Plus, at some point, I mean, it gets difficult to move. So she says she is going to try back out for this season. So she needs to learn her little dance and her cheer. So she thinks she's going to have that ready by the weekend, essentially. And then we learn that crazy old Fallon says she quit her job in order to stay at home and take care of Wesley. I don't know if she's taking care of Wesley and the other little one that the older sister had, or if she's just taking care of Wesley. And that's a cool thing if all this other crap was not going on. Like, I really liked this family in the first episode. I was like, wow, you guys are very supportive. You want these kids to finish out their dreams and go to school. You're going to continue to sacrifice for them and their grandkids. Like, that's a very honorable thing. You don't have to do that. You can, make this a little more difficult for them. But now it's just weird and gross. And like, Fallon, I don't care what you do now. I don't care how you support your daughter. You are playing a role in creating these kids. And so you deserve just as much of the consequences of having a teenager with a kid as your teenager does. And so I think you're shouldering these consequences because you feel guilty. And you should. I hope you really liked your job, Fallon, and now you have to stay home with baby Wesley, because we all know, as we saw here, that Fallon just wants to sneak up and take this child. Wes will end up being mine if you guys have another one. I feel like that was like a Freudian slip, you guys. Like, she is just trying to find a damn reason to scoop up this child and take custody of it. I don't know what is in her crazy crackpot mind that makes her think that if her daughter has another kid and now has two kids, that she's just going to scoop up one of the kids, like, just for no reason, especially when you're the one taking care of the kids anyways. What, you're just going to do a little quick custody situation for what reason? On what terms? It's so creepy and weird. So creepy and weird. And of course she's going to pick Wes because Wes is a boy and she's always wanted a boy, and who knows what the other one's going to be. It's just absolutely insane. So the mom asks, why on earth would you be pregnant again? Why am I getting these texts from Hunter that he's wondering if you're pregnant or not? And she's like, oh, well, of course we're having sex. We had sex 4 days after we had Wesley, which she says hurt. Duh. And then they're all like, oh, but we're using protection, so everything's okay. Well, no, everything's not okay. I don't think that these things need to be encouraged. I understand that these are two humans and they have urges and desires and that they're going to act on those kinds of things. But the encouragement of this is just completely disgusting to watch. It's actually insane. And so they're sitting here laughing about using protection. I don't believe this face. I don't know anyone who would believe this face. And then just to make sure that we're not going to say, hey, you don't look like you're being very honest, the kid fucking rips ass. Excuse my language. But the kid just rips one. And this seems to be a pattern by now. It's like every time Hunter is in the confessional and someone has something to say to him that is serious, he just rips ass. And then all these girls just giggle and laugh because nobody's ever seen any teenage boy ever fart before. And now we don't get into any other serious topics such as, okay, you're using protection. Why are you giggling? Why is this funny? Because you have a literal child. This is very serious. So stupid. Everybody here is so stupid. So then Bella tries to essentially, convince her own mother, like, I can handle two kids. It's Hunter that can't handle two kids. Okay, fine. Maybe you can handle two kids when you can go to school, when you have a TV show or, your mom puts you on social media so that you have enough money to pay for a camper. I mean, didn't we all think we had it figured out when we were this age? This is what she thinks she has figured out. She has a camper on her parents' land while her mom quits her literal job to take care of her baby so she can go to high school. And she thinks she's got it so damn figured out that she can have a second baby and her mom should not be worried about it at all. And you know what? I think she probably will go a long way in convincing her mom of that at some point because the woman is just as damn delusional. So I think that is where we end with Bella and Hunter. And I believe that that's where we end for the episode. So I am going to skedaddle off of here. Sorry to all of you about the abrupt shift and end. Sorry for the long monologue as well, but I'm glad that you did all join us. We are all going to just say a quick prayer for Anne and whatever happens to be going on that leapt her off of here so quickly. And we hope that you all have a really, really fun rest of your Friday. So please leave your comments below. We will get back to them, just not live today. And please join us next week. We're going to keep following this show all the way through, definitely. So I hope that you all have a really fun Friday, and we will catch